This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Of the Fins Too Deep podcast. You catch him there. Also on Twitter at Neal Driscoll. First time on the program. Let's rock and roll with Neal. Neal, how you doing, baby?
Doing good, man. Big O, how's it going, man? How's everything on your end? How's Vegas treating you?
Well, listen, to be honest, it's 3 days of work, bro. I mean, it's prep, it's on, it's eat, sleep, prep, on, eat, sleep, prep, and then after today, Neal, I'll be in Vegas for 4 more days. So,
Okay.
Then we can talk.
I want to hear the real stories. There we go.
Then we can talk. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I only have one show and a normal show every day after that, Monday through Wednesday while I'm here. So yeah, it'll be a different story. Then I can relax a little bit and actually enjoy it. Because right now, man, it's been work. And today's the longest day. That's if they keep those 2 7th rounders. Some tells me they're going to trade those two up to a 6th rounder and get the hell out or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. First of all, let's start off with the off season. Your grade on the off season. What do you think so far? What they've done?
Man, I'm going to sound like a homer here today because honestly, for what they've done this offseason, I'm going to give them an A. Tyreek Hill to me is the best offensive player we've had in Miami probably since Dan Marino. And I know there's going to be people that will throw Ricky Williams out there. As a football fan watching a player like Tyreek Hill, and we knew that we had to improve this group opposite of Jalen Waddle, right? We knew that was one of the big things. And I was okay with us staying at pick 29 and seeing maybe if Jameson Williams fell because of his injury or something like that. But the splash they made, I just am really excited. And then the Terran Armstead contract, right? Like, not only did they get him, they got him at like $4 or $5 million cheaper per season than what was rumored out there. And, you talk about building this offensive line. You add him and Connor Williams. They're the best 2 players on the line right now. And, that's a huge step. And then I even like Cedric Wilson for this offense. And then we can talk about Alec Ingold, Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds. And then I like that they kept the defense intact. They made X happy. It's been a great off season. The stage is set, right? And I know you and I share a lot of the same thoughts about Tua, thinking that this is a year where he's going to take this step forward. This is turnkey for a quarterback now. This is a good football team. If Tua takes that step based off of what they've done, but I think my favorite move after I say all that is Mike McDaniel. I really think that he has changed this culture. The players seem more relaxed. It doesn't seem like Fort Knox. It seems like they're having fun. And you got to treat professional athletes that make a lot of money that are young like men, but you have to have a mutual respect. So, I give them an A. I can't wait to see it unfold, but I don't know how you can't with what they've done this offseason.
Yeah, no, the only one is a sourpuss that we have on in Joe Shad, who can never give an A to anybody, which is just freaking amazing. But I'm with you all the way. I love what they did because there's a method behind the entire madness. And keeping the defense intact and pretty much the special teams, what they wanted to do is maintain continuity. So when your new offensive coach comes in, he doesn't have the headache of trying to figure out, I got to hire a defensive coordinator. What scheme are we going to use? Now we got to replace these players, that player, because he doesn't fit this scheme, that scheme. So now you have continuity in 2/3 of the team. And you didn't have continuity on offense anyway, so it's not like there's any setback there. It can only get better now. So I'm with you. And then all the pieces they added, it's like a puzzle that they're actually completing. And then that leads us to yesterday, which becomes another piece to the puzzle that you needed.
Right. Oh, God. I'm watching draft with a couple friends yesterday, and we're 20 picks away from our pick. And I announced it there. They're talking to Kobe Dean. I'm like, I want Shannon Tyndall. I want him. Every pick that goes by, I'm holding my breath. We're on the, and a lot of times when you're a draft fan and a Dolphin fan, you want a guy, you fall in love with him, the pick comes, and you get a sense of disappointment. I was like literally jumping because I think that this guy is the perfect fit for what we need to do. He's got the size. I don't think there's a better sideline to sideline linebacker in the draft. His speed to the ball, his pursuit. he loves football. He's a football junkie. He'll play special teams. Even like just his little engagement that we saw in the video with Mike McDaniel yesterday, I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool to see. And I mean, that's a guy who, I watch a lot of Georgia football. Obviously, when you watch the draft, you're watching a lot of these prospects. And I'm sitting there like, who the hell is this 41 guy? I knew who Nakobe Dean is. I know who Quay Walker is. I know who Jordan Davis is. But this linebacker is getting to the ball faster than everybody. Who is this guy? And if you remember, like we took Jerome Baker in the third round out of Ohio State. And when we play him to his strengths, he's been a good football player.
Yes, outside, yes.
Right? So I have a feeling that this is that type of pick for us, where this guy is going to play inside. And Landon Roberts is a warrior, right? The likelihood is that he's probably going to be beat up.
Short yardage thumper is what the
right. By week 8, I think we're going to see a transition where Shannon Tindall's getting more snaps. I just think that highly of the guy.
I can definitely see that, and I can definitely see both Roberts and him on goal line and short yardage situations because you've got two guys that can penetrate and wrap people up. So I think that will be a positive too. So in certain scenarios, you might see both guys because, like you just mentioned, you talked about his speed. So in a short yardage situation, you want to put him on the outside, and Landon, he doesn't have to cover a lot of space because, again, we're in short yardage. So he's going to be able to read and react and be where he's supposed to be. Tindall will be able to help you out in those situations from the outside, just in case that runner pops to the outside. Now you've got the guy that can equally get to the speed and get to the outside to still stop him before he gets to the goal line. That kind of stuff. So I think it's going to help in that scenario. You can actually see both on the field.
Yeah, I mean, look, I put out a top 300 big board. I send it out 2 days before the draft because I don't want to be one of those guys that's, you're a homer, right? And I had Tindall as my 48th overall player, and we drafted him at 102, right? So right. I mean, you're talking extreme value. I'm here watching here today. I know that, we have a pick coming up. Like there's some good players that are still on the board. I know that we're going to be in the center market. Zach Tom from Wake Forest is a guy they did a lot of work on. So I have a feeling if he's there that, when they have the Dolphins are pretty good when they bring you in for those top 30 visits that, if they bring you in, they keep an eye on you. So we'll see what happens here.
If it's not him, Lindstrom would be the other guy. And because Lindstrom lacks the power, because he's not a mauler, that's not really what you need in this scheme.
Yeah.
So you got to be a little lighter on your feet. You got to be able to move. And combo blocking is actually a positive in a zone scheme at times. And he's a good player in a zone scheme. So I'm with you. The Wake Forest kid is also a good player. Lindstrom would be another option. Okay, if they want to go running back, who do you like?
I love Isaiah Spiller. He's my number 2 running back. I think he's just a brilliant runner. I mean,
I like the Pierce kid too. He was on my list.
He went. Well, the thing I liked about Spiller, they lost Alabama, right? And I don't even think it was particularly close. But I mean, he was churning yards against that defense. He was making the first guy miss. He has a good combo of power and speed. Love his contact balance. At the second level, he gets kind of fierce too. Like he doesn't mind dipping his shoulder. He's a guy that would be a complete steal here at 125. But it's been. I mean, just this whole offseason, kind of back to your original question. It seems like we're making all the right moves finally, right? Like we've been wanting this for years. And as if I'm a fan, right? Like I get impatient, but Chris Greer, seems like, there was a pivot from Flores to McDaniel, obviously, and Flores had to go. But I forget.
Dude, there isn't a cock blocker in the building anymore.
Right. Well, I forget how bad we were.
That's what's going on. The last couple of years, you got to the personnel meetings, and it was an effing war, bro.
Right.
Because the one guy thought he could do every freaking job on the planet. That's why he had, coaches that had no authority, and they had no tenure because he didn't want people that could actually question his authority. Meanwhile, Marvin Allen is way more proven than he ever will be in personnel. Reggie McKenzie's way more proven than he ever will be in personnel. And Chris Greer knows what the hell he's doing. All 3 guys are exceptional. I keep telling people, we're going to prove that this is one of the best front offices in the NFL after all this BS that we've gone through the last couple of years. And I truly feel what you're feeling now, it's because there isn't that disturbance in the middle of that building, and it's gone now. And Mike, and here's the thing I love about what Chris Greer did, and he learned his lesson. He said, we're not doing what we did with Gase and with Flo. The next coach can make suggestions. He will not demand anything about personnel. He can make a suggestion, say, hey, I need a player like this. And then we will determine who that player is. And
Right.
that's what's happening now. Church and state have been separated.
Yeah,
What's happening.
Can't have too many cooks in the kitchen, right? Like when
Amen.
it's one of those things. But you can notice it, and even from the outside, right? Like I have friends of mine that are Dolphin fans that are like, man, the vibe with Mike McDaniel seems really good. You guys don't seem like the franchise you've been for the last decade, and it's good to see that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Let me give you a couple of other guys. Devonta Price, the FIU kid. Zamir White from Georgia. Pierre Strong, San Diego State. What do you think about any of those guys at running back?
All three are good players. Zamir White's my favorite. I actually see a little Nick Chubb out of Zamir White. I know he's had some injuries, so like you always got to
kid. Yeah.
But like at this point, you're in the 4th round, and I did some investigating on this, right? Like last year, out of all those picks in the 4th round, the NFL saw 2 starters: Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions, and then Michael Carter, the running back for the Jets. They were the only 2 4th rounders that started in the NFL. So you're taking developmental guys with upside at this point. But Zamir White, he's going to have flags with the injury, but I love how he runs between the tackles. Pierre Strong is another guy. He actually gives me a little bit of those LaShawn McCoy, like shifty vibes a little bit. But I do think running back something that is got to be on the radar here. But I'm with you. I think those 2 7th-round picks, they're probably going to move them up and be like, bon voyage, let's get out of here for the day. But all 3 of those guys are.
And by the way, White is an SEC player, which, if you've noticed, they like their share of SEC players.
Well, and that's how honestly, if I'm on the fence, that's one of my tiebreakers. I like SEC guys. And if it's an Alabama guy, because I know that they're coming from Nick Saban and being coached at that level,
Amen.
like, sign me up.
Yeah.
When people were saying we're like becoming Alabama with Waddle and Tua, and I'm like, is that supposed to be an insult or is that a compliment?
That's fine with me.
Right.
I'm getting a player that's semi-prepared already for the pros. Yeah, giddy up.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I'd rather have him than a guy that played for Al Golden or what's the dude we just had now that we fired? Manny Diaz. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, no,
I don't need a player celebrating on the sidelines while they're losing. We're good with that. Yeah, let me have the Nick Saban guy. Let me have the Georgia guy. Let me have the LSU guy. I'm with you. I'm going to take those guys every day of the week and twice on Sundays. All right, so let's wrap it up with this. So you're with me that the environment around Tua was too toxic for almost any quarterback really to survive and thrive. Now the environment's changed. You think, like me, he will now actually go out there and thrive.
I said this on our podcast 2 weeks ago, and people are going to think I'm certifiable. I actually think that he could be a dark horse MVP candidate.
Wow.
I do. I think that if you give him the time he needs, and they are going to yak people to death, right? That is the quote we're hearing.
Yeah.
People think, like, I hate to say it like this, but the average football fan thinks that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are just guys that run 9 routes all day, and that's all they can do.
They don't do that. And by the way, in Kansas City, they don't do that either.
At all.
There's a lot of short passes, a lot of crossers. Joe Montana made a living of that. That's been like that forever, man.
Yeah, and I'm not here trying to act like I'm the next Mel Kiper or, I love breaking down prospects. I've been doing this since 2005. My number 1 rated quarterback during that time period was Andrew Luck, and my 1B was Tua Tagovailoa. I believe in what I saw. I believe in the accuracy. I believe in the intangibles. I believe he's getting healthier, and I believe the environment and the coaching's better. And I am excited about this season. I'm more excited than I've been in a long time because, we all throw out stats. I think Tua is going to play high-level, efficient football. 33 touchdowns, maybe 12 interceptions, probably a little bit past 4,000 passing yards. And honestly, man, I'm here for that. Like I don't need the Patrick Mahomes type, right? Because look what happens when you get the Patrick Mahomes type. You're paying him outrageous money, and your whole franchise breaks down if he ever anything ever happens to him. But yeah, I'm a believer in Tua. I think at worst you see like fringe top 12 quarterback play. And my dream is that when I turn on to Good Morning Football, one of their topics is, did the Dolphins get it right all along and actually have the right quarterback? Because I don't care. Again, like fantasy football, sure, give me Justin Herbert, give me Joe Burrow. The Bengals look pretty good. Actually, the Bengals are last year what I envisioned happening with the Dolphins. And it might not be just this year, but if we can come out of this season, Big O, and say, we know Tua's the guy, and we have that draft capital next year, that's how great good teams become great.
Exactly. Yes.
Right?
Yes. And remember this. It's what I also remind people. After next season, the cycle starts. If you start hitting on your picks, you're not going to be able to sign them all. So the compensatory rounds also will then start.
Right.
Because that's a cycle of 4 to 5 years, because it takes a cycle of a new general manager taking over. And then, as your players become eligible for contracts, some of them, if you did a good job of drafting, you're going to start losing some. And so you'll have that too. So not only do you keep trying to make a Tunsil-like move that has been the trade that keeps giving and giving and giving, but you also have to hit on your drafts, because you'll lose some, but you'll gain back in compensatory picks. And one of the things, again, that these guys have proven, that they're actually pretty good in the middle to late rounds.
Yeah, and it's funny because I live here in Baltimore. The Ravens are like the poster child for being able to do compensatory picks and do it the right way. And where we are kind of reminds me of where we are, where the Ravens were here locally. I mean, Ozzie Newsome's the guy who picked Ray Lewis in Ogden and had been here. Ted Marchibrodo leaves. They had Brian Billick. When Brian Billick left and they hired John Harbaugh, right, there was just this synergy between the GM and the coach that was there. And they kind of were on lockstep on making decisions. They let players that are talented players go, knowing that you can't pay everybody and you're going to get those compensatory picks. And I think the Dolphins are showing that they're drafting good players, because we could all grade this year's draft today, but it really doesn't matter. There's no context to it. It's just what we saw in college. But like a year fast forward, right? Like, I don't know if there's a team that had a better draft than the Miami Dolphins last year. If you take Waddle, Phillips, and Javon Holland, like what they did in their rookie year. So yeah, I'm totally excited for where they're heading, because I'm with you. I think not only are they getting the right talent in here, they're getting the front office fixed, and the players are going to come and go. If we've learned anything, I saw Michael Jordan play in a Wizards jersey, and I didn't know what the hell loyalty was anymore, right? Yeah. Peyton Manning in the Broncos, Tom Brady in the Bucks, right? Like, this is a business. People are going to go. We got spoiled with Marino, one jersey for your whole life, and I'm a Cal Ripken guy. My guys are
Wayne Gretzky got traded, bro.
Right.
That's it.
So,
that's all you need to know, dude. The greatest of all time in a sport got traded, and so did Michael Jordan. He ends up playing anything is possible, dude. Joe Montana ends up in Kansas City. Anything is possible.
It is
in sports, man. It's always been like that, dude. It's just. It is what it is, man. All right. By the way, I'll close out with this. Daddy Dean's asking, what if Spiller, Brandon Smith, because I've been talking about, I know we took a linebacker, but I like the kid from Penn State.
I love him.
If you really wanted to load up on your linebackers, I kind of like that guy in the 4th round. I would not complain. And here's the other thing that I was thinking about. Just that one of their things is drafting running backs late. So they get those 2 7s, make it a 6, and they'll pick another back, because that's what they've done already since they've taken over here. They take backs late somehow or another. So I wouldn't mind that. But Daddy Dean is asking if Spiller, Brandon Smith, and West are there at 125, where are you going?
I'm taking Isaiah Spiller, but I'm with you on Brandon Smith. If Spiller was gone and there was any other running back, I think the upside of Brandon Smith, he has that feel like a Fred Warner to me a little bit, a guy who's going to be way better as a pro when he figures out what his athleticism and his traits are. I like him. I mean, we're up in 6 picks, so that would be he's a guy that my wife is a Penn State alum. We watch Penn State pretty religiously here. That is a guy that I would pound the table for here at 425 and be very happy. And to be honest, Big O, one linebacker doesn't solve it. We need depth. We have 1-year deals across the board. So,
all right, so you're with me on this one, okay? Because
absolutely.
I know we get in love with the whole running back, and I do love Isaiah Spiller. I've been saying it since yesterday. I like Isaiah Spiller. I wouldn't even mind if they took him at 102. I wouldn't have complained if they take him. But if you want to take Smith right now, and you give me now Channing and Smith at linebacker, oh my God, I am so freaking happy because I think you picked up some linebackers for the next 5 to 10 years.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm with you 100%.
Oh, and by the way, your special teams becomes instantly better too on top of
absolutely.
All so good stuff. All right, hey, tell them about the podcast, man, so people can
Fin Too Deep. I do it with Reason. I think Reason's popping on here later today with you. We do it every Wednesday. Dolphins talk, draft talk. We're kind of waiting for the off-season activities to pick up here. It's been kind of boring with the Dolphins not having as many picks, but they made it a lot of fun before the draft talk, that's for sure. But
by the way, I think they're trying to force J.C. Treader because, you remember how you just talked about Armstead, that they got a bargain on that deal? If you notice, this dude's a tough negotiator. He doesn't give away a lot of money. Byron Jones is like the only one that got a big ass contract, but outside of that, most of the free agents, even his own guys, he kind of really doesn't give away a lot of money overall. So when you look at this situation, I think that there could be some, now I lost my train of thought what I was saying. What was I thinking about now? I was gonna mention now. I lost my damn train of thought. What was it that we were talking about before?
Well, man,
I was trying to make a point right now, and damn it,
both of us we lose our thoughts at the same time.
Damn, what I was.
Brandon Smith and the depth and special teams and.
Oh God, what I was going to say now that I was leading.
You were on a roll.
I know I was on a roll, and now I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, forget about it. Don't worry about it. But okay, out of those three, you're still taking Isaiah.
I still think I am, but it's close. I'll be honest, it's close. And but you were talking about the J.C. Treader and how they're a little bit more.
I think he's trying to drive that price down. Because Treader has he's got a little injury history stuff. And I think he's like, no, we're not paying that much for you. You're injury prone. And he hasn't signed anywhere. And Miami needs that competition. I think they're trying to I think that's the one thing in the offseason that might end up developing. He lowers the price and he ends up becoming a Dolphin.
Yeah, I think that could happen too. And old regimes, I think you would agree with me, they kind of panicked and threw money at their problems. Like they would have signed Melvin Ingram already to way too much money. But, there's players that they're saying, hey, we're interested in you, but we're interested in you at our price. And if you can't go find that anywhere else, let's talk. But we're not going to overpay you. And I think that's a great approach to play because J.C. Treader or Brandon Smith literally went to Carolina.
And look who took him. Look who freaking took him. They take linebackers all the damn time.
But I would say this, J.C. Treader would be a huge upgrade to our offensive line. So I'm all about J.C. Treader.
All right. Good stuff there. Make sure you follow him on Twitter like I do, Neal Driscoll, and check out the Fins Too Deep podcast. Appreciate you, Neal. We'll catch up down the line, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Look forward to hearing the real stories when you get to enjoy some good time in Vegas.
You got it, baby. Be good. Thank you, Neal. You got it. There you go. Fins Too Deep. Neal Driscoll. Good stuff.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.